All right, Tug, you ready? Coker, you ready? How ready are you? There we go. All right. Well, we're live, guys. So let's get it together.
This is the South Dakota State.
All right. All right. Well, we're live. Let's. Oh, see, listen, you can even hear it. All right, I'm back. Let's fucking do this. We're live.
It's unbelievable. I'm so hot. My mic's hot.
In
How
5,
do I sound? Good?
4,
All right.
3.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from the Smut Studio in Venice Beach, California, with my co-host, Tug Coker.
Welcome back, Andy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll tell you what, Joe, let me just get it out of the way. Joe was under the knife today. We have not been fully reunited. Not that you're a bad replacement. You are an amazing replacement. I want to lead the show by thanking you for the last few weeks. You fill in anytime we need you. You're like Batman with podcasting. We put out the bat signal. I was gone. Now Joe had surgery. By the way, successful surgery. Still, he's got a long road ahead. He's not feeling good.
Any truth to the fact that he had surgery because he heard Eli Manning retired? Like, it's more than just a leg surgery. It was almost take me with him.
They wanted to do like a Dr. Kevorkian at Cedar Sinai. Because Prano can't handle Eli retiring.
But all reports are Joe is out of surgery and everything is good?
Yeah, his manager texted me. His manager, Randy, she texted me, said it's good. He's in a lot of pain. He's on some painkillers, which caused some concern for me. I don't want him going the Brett Favre route.
Well, he told me how, listen, this is classic great acting by Joe Prano, talking about the pain, just so they can triple up his dosage. I know what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
It's very smart.
Can't wait for him to flood reporters' phones with pictures of his penis later. People forget that. It starts with the painkillers. Next thing you know, pictures of your junk. I am very happy to be back here. I'm joined by an all-star crew tonight. Obviously, I'd love to have Joe here. I'd love to have all of us, all 5 of us here. I got Nick D'Alessandro. I got Twerks with Wolves, Aaron. Nick, hop on mic here because you have been living in my place for the last 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Speak up a little here.
2 weeks
there
in
we
the
go.
Smut Studio without Andy.
Yeah.
Andy's graceful return today or yesterday.
Thank
we
you.
went grocery shopping. We did laundry. You got me eating kale and Brussels sprouts. I'm a changed man.
Just like that.
No float lab yet.
No float lab. I'm hoping to get that later in the week, though.
But I also want to thank Tug because Tug took you under his wing. Obviously,
Well, like you said, the bat signal is out. It's not just for podcasts. It's for parenting. It's for being the tour guide.
That's right. Anything to get away from my kids. Said that many times, and that's the truth. But I like to think of myself as Troy Aikman, the player, because I can win with Jimmy Johnson. I can win with Barry Switzer. I can't win with Joe Buck, but almost. You can't go perfect.
Sure.
I like to think of myself as a versatile player. You know what I mean? Who is like a very versatile player in the heyday? That's me.
That's you.
I'll jump on with you. We have a friendship with Joe, friendship with Nick, friendship with all the dirtballs. I'm very happy tonight, and I'm feeding off of Andy's energy. You guys should have seen the energy that Andy had before we went to air.
Well,
It was like a kid about to bust into his own birthday party.
I am very happy to be back.
We're happy to have you back.
I'll tell you what. I'll just be honest with you. I'll try not to get too emotional. The last few weeks have obviously been toughest of my life, and my mom's death was very sudden. We were extremely close, but the dirtballs, you guys are amazing, and I got so many kind and thoughtful messages, stuff in the mail. and it meant a lot to me. And I can't thank you guys enough because everything has sucked. Like, I'm just going to be honest. A lot of times people try to sugarcoat this stuff, and I've talked to my dad a lot about it, of just saying it sucks. Obviously, I'm remaining positive as far as focusing on all the great memories I had with my mom, but it's not easy. But the Dirtball fam, you guys were amazing. In fact, I want to give a few shout-outs to some people who sent some stuff. I got to give a shout-out to – I have all this stuff here. Let's see if I can read your writing. Okay, yeah, Henry De La Tolla, he sent me a shirt. He sent me one of his lacrosse shirts and hats from his high school. I have something here that was sent in the mail from Braden Ison, a Michigan Dirtball. But the thing that really touched me, it got me crying. You guys were amazing. I got Jay Lloyd, who does amazing photoshops for us, him and a bunch of Dirtballs, they sent a flower wreath to the funeral home for my mom, and it was such a good wreath, which is funny and touching, but it's touching, but it's also funny. The funeral home loved it so much, they took it to my mom's burial site, and it says, like, from the Dirty Sports family. So my mom was basically buried. I mean, you have to laugh with the Dirtballs, and I want to give everyone a shout-out on this card. It was a lot of Dirtballs. Can't thank you guys enough. Peyton Stolp, Kyle Aronofsky, Charlie Ryan, Bo Blaha, Emiliano Barajas, John Smith, Dylan Mata, Brad Stevens, Jesus, Griffin McHugh, Damian Adams, Alex Miller, and Maniacal Mitch, and, of course, Jay Lloyd. They sent me gift cards. They said this great spread. They had a pretzel sandwich spread, which was a hit after the funeral. My dad rented out a bar, and everybody got drunk, and that was a huge thing. So you guys have been amazing. Tug, you've been amazing. Everybody's been amazing, and I just want to thank you guys. I really can't thank you guys enough. And you know what? My mom would be proud. At the end of the day, that's how I look at it. She would be proud of what we're doing and what we have going on here. And you're right. I'm excited, and I'm ready to kick down 2020 with both legs. Sorry, Joe. I couldn't resist.
No. Well, it's been fun, obviously to be with Joe and the four of us, Aaron, Nick, Joe, and I went out to lunch last week and had a great time. Aaron absolutely freaked out, fanboyed out on an actor that was in Harry Potter.
I heard about this.
Nick, Joe, and I had no clue who this person was, and Aaron could not leave this dude alone. You want to fill the group in?
Yeah, is my mic on?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, cool. I fucked it up hard.
So,
I'm gonna be flat out candid here.
We'll bring
I
it back
fucked up.
because Nick told me you fanboyed out. Where were you guys at?
Cock and Bull.
So you're at Cock and Bull.
The old cock and
It's
bull.
like an English pub for those who don't know Venice, Santa Monica area. It's like an English pub where you get like sausages for lunch, English breakfast, and there's like 6 people in this bar at lunch.
So there's a Harry Potter actor.
Yeah. Okay. So, it's 2:30 p.m. on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Very unsuspecting time. And I walk in and I see Draco Malfoy sitting at the bar by himself, with a few drinks around him, and I made eye contact with him as soon as I walked in, and I did a double take because I was like, holy fuck, this guy looks just like Malfoy, but I'm not 100% certain. And then I noticed he has a little tattoo on his right ankle, the inside.
Do you run a fan site for this guy? That's really creepy.
No, but I noticed this tattoo, and I was like, okay, I gotta confirm my suspicions because I'm not gonna be one of those cucks who ends up on Twitter where it's like, so and so thought it was this person. They take a picture and they post it, and then you realize, dude, that's not at all who you thought it was. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not gonna be another statistic. So I'm talking to Joe, and Joe's like hyping me up, like, dude, that's got to be him. That's got to be him. On his painkillers. I can't trust what he's saying. I don't know. So then I walk up to the guy, and then I get there, and now that we're within 2 feet of each other, I start second-guessing myself, thinking, maybe this isn't him.
Okay.
So the only logical explanation I had was, you know what, go back to the tattoo, because that's evidence of who he is. So for some reason I ask him, hey, man, I know this is a really weird question, but what's that tattoo on your ankle? Can I see that tattoo? and he looks
So weird to
It's
walk
so
up to a
weird.
stranger.
So weird.
So weird.
So weird to say, "Can I see your tattoo?" And he looks at me, kind of like laughs and like kind of scoffs. Looks at me and he goes in his accent, "You want to see my dick too, mate?" And I was like, "All right, this is red alert, Mayday." He asked me want to see my dick, and he's like, "I'm not." He's like, "I have a girlfriend, you know." And I started laughing, and I tell him, we kind of blew it over. We ended up dapping each other up. It was cool, you know. I told him I was a big fan of his work, all that stuff. It was fine, but yeah, I got off to a real rough start.
Have you ever done anything like this with a celebrity? Because obviously we live in L.A.
Well, usually the celebrities that I have met here, I 100% already knew that they were the person I thought they were. It was like at an event or something where I knew, okay, yeah, this is like, I met Will Smith, and I was like, oh, this is for sure Will Smith.
It sounds like you were more excited to meet the actor who played Draco Malfoy than it was Will Smith.
I mean, yeah.
By
I
the
mean,
way, can you imagine him going up to like some white guy and be like, "Are you Will Smith?" I just picture. I feel like Aaron's lost.
I grew up a huge Harry Potter fan, like a huge nerd for Harry Potter. So like when I saw that, I was like, no way. But keep in mind, it's 2:30 on a weekday, and he was by himself, just drinking, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm just having a pint," and I was like, so it was just the weirdest circumstances that I never expected, and I think that was a big reason why I asked him probably the weirdest question of all time.
Well, we have so much sports to talk, and we're discussing this.
Well, let me just say this. This is why we needed you back. Because, the four of us went out. We're sort of having a drink, having some lunch, and we needed someone to bring us all back together and bring us back to the focus of Dirty Sports. And I just want to say before we move on, you can feel the love that people have for you, and I have it as well. Nick has it, Aaron has it, everyone has it. So, I'm glad that you felt like you had people, thinking about you, lifting you and your family up because, we really, really care about you. So we're happy that you're back, and continue. Anything you need, don't be afraid to ask us.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that, and yeah, I'll have my moments for sure. Real quick to end that stuff. You get to the point where you're like, dude, I don't think I can cry anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's such a crazy thing. Like I've cried so much in the last 2 weeks, and I've seen more crying from my brothers and dad. Where like I was like, yeah, I'm done crying, and then yesterday, as we were leaving the driveway, I just like lost it to go to the airport because it was tough to come back. Still, so yeah, I might. If guys, just cut me some leeway. If I start crying during Russell Wilson discussion,
or like a Chris Mack comeback, Chris Mack.
He was actually brought up with my buddies the other night, and they said, "Geez, we're never gonna bring that up about around Ruther again." But I am stoked to be back, and there's obviously a lot going on in the sports news, and I almost feel like we in honor of Joe Prano.
This is great.
We have to start with Eli Manning announcing his retirement.
It's like some weird mythological story where the moment Joe goes under in surgery,
Yeah.
Eli wakes up and says, "I'm done."
Yeah.
It's some weird phenomenon. So
Now, in honor of Joe, I'm gonna do the "I told you so." Now, I love Prano, but he loves to tout when he's right, and we've had a lot of discussions. Of course, I said there's no way he's going anywhere next year, and I think we saw that, right? You and I did.
of course.
Do you think he deep down, Prano, knew that Eli would not be playing in 2021?
Well, we actually talked about this a little bit, and I think maybe you and I have too. It's possible that he could have pulled like a Flacco to Denver situation, but it's over. It's the writing is still on the wall.
Yeah.
Like Flacco was a sitting duck the moment he went to Denver because the moment they'd start losing, they're seeing what the younger guys have.
Yeah.
It's over.
Sure.
So I think Eli made the smart move by saying, like, I don't want to be the I don't want to do what I did the past couple of years,
Yeah.
which is start 3-4 games, then get yanked. It's not what I want to do.
Well, Eli's legacy, you'd probably agree with me, is one of the more interesting legacies. I'm going to go beyond just football. Of all sports.
I was honestly trying to think of a comp in a different sport that Eli, is similar to, and I'm still working on it. Like, for instance, like Dirk is a better player than Eli was, but the Dirk upset of the Heat that year, it reminds me of what Eli did against the Patriots twice.
Yeah.
So I'm still working on this sort of comparison.
I don't think there is one.
He's that much of a anomaly.
He's like an enigma, right? Because Eli's regular season stats are but he never missed a game, which is huge. Even his postseason stats are minus basically 1.5 runs. And I did a deep dive. You put out the bat signal to me.
I did. I said nugget up.
I want some facts.
Facts only.
Here's some quick hitters. Should I go through a few quick hitters?
Please do.
By the way, Eli is a Hall of Famer. I won't have an argument where he's not. I'm not just saying that because of Joe. In my opinion, he's a.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
And we'll start off why. I don't care what anybody out there says. I had this discussion with Sean Merriman recently. Dude, when you put up top 10 all-time numbers, you're a Hall of Famer. End of story. And he is.
Depends on the number. Let's be clear.
Okay.
Let's go through it.
He's 7th all-time in passing yards.
And I like that stat, but as a person who likes the numbers, that number doesn't mean as much to me because the era in which he played is so different from so many players that are already in the Hall of Fame. And that number will continue to diminish. 5 years from now, he'll probably be outside the top 10.
This is why I don't know about that. Because of his consistency to stay on the field. Guys do not stay on the field like Eli. Eli, that's one of his great numbers. He's 3rd all-time in 210 consecutive regular season starts.
And that would be behind his brother and Brett Favre?
Correct. Eli has the 7th.
What a gift the Mannings have. I mean, that probably is the coolest stat.
It really is.
The amount of starts that those two brothers had in the NFL.
That's why I don't know if the numbers will be there. Take my guy, Russell Wilson. He's played 8 straight years, hasn't missed a snap. Russell Wilson's already in the top 8 all-time in consecutive starts. I'm just saying, we see Mahomes this year already miss a couple games.
But Russell Wilson's outside of Eli Manning in yards, right? Passing yards.
As far as for the first 8 years?
I mean, obviously he's not 7th all time, but do we think he could get to inside the top 7? But look at the guys behind him. Is what part of my point.
Well, Matt Ryan's already at 10th.
Matt Ryan's going to get there.
Matthew Stafford could get there.
I mean, Russ, Mahomes. There's just a whole litany of guys that are on the come up.
So 7th all-time in passing yards, another great stat. I'm sorry, in passing touchdowns. 2-time Super Bowl MVP. This is where it starts to get interesting. He's 117 and 117 all time.
That to me is an incredible stat. The fact that he won, I think he beat the Dolphins right this year to get
500
back to 500.
Yeah,
and then, I mean, I called it on the podcast. Whenever it happened, it was like, is he going to do a Ted Williams, where Ted Williams, was he put his 400 on the line, and went 4 for 6 in the doubleheader, I think.
Yeah.
But Eli did not do that. He's like, I'm cool at 117 and 117.
He only threw for 4,000 yards 6 times, which to me is an interesting stat. He played 16 seasons? So that's, to me, in a pass-happy era, he's only thrown for 4,000 yards once every 4 years, which is kind of an interesting stat. What do you make of this stat? I'm curious about this. He's 19th all-time in passing yards per game, but he's 87th. Do you make much all-time in passing yards per attempt? Do you make much of the passing yards per attempt?
Definitely. I mean, it really says, dink and dunk. I mean, that's the analytic people would kind of definitely poo-poo that number. I mean, when you're looking to it, if you're evaluating the Hall of Fame, that doesn't matter, but it just shows you what he's looking at. I mean, it just shows you where he'd like to throw. To the flats, short, dink and dunk. I mean, it's great that the 2 biggest throws of his life Well, there's a couple. I mean, there's David Tyree, obviously. There's Mario Manningham. There's Plaxico.
Yeah.
Um,
You know what I'm fascinated by is the playoff stuff. The playoff. If you do a deep dive, which I did today, and I knew a lot of it, but there's some of it I still didn't even know. To me, it's fascinating. Eli been to the playoffs 6 times in 16 years. 4 one-and-dones and 2 Super Bowl runs. That is Eli, is it not, Tug?
100%.
That's this weird, like I don't even know how to describe it. This weird number that he goes on 2 Super Bowl runs, then other times he's one and done. And I mean, those other times were bad. I mean, awful. Absolutely abysmal. Listen to this stat. Of Eli's 4 one-and-dones, in 3 of those games, he threw for 169 yards or fewer. In his non-Super Bowl runs, in his 4 other playoff appearances, he had 3 touchdowns to 7 interceptions.
Because of the longevity, Aaron or Nick, can you guys look up the all-time leaders in interceptions? I just want to see if
He's up there.
if and where he ranks. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're bad. It means maybe you take shots, but it is bad when you're 87th all-time in yards per attempt.
Now, he's top 10. I didn't want to put that up there because a lot of the greats are. I actually wanted to give Eli the benefit of the doubt on that.
No, I'm saying this because I think maybe Peyton's up there too. I don't know.
He is.
So it doesn't mean you're bad. It means you're taking shots. But my problem is when you lead your top 10 or interceptions and you're 87th all time in yards per attempt. It means you're not taking the shots that you should.
Yeah.
What do you got, Aaron?
So Eli ranks 12th all time in interceptions at 244. And to get some context, I mean, yeah, Peyton Manning is at number 9 with 251. So.
Who's number 1?
Number 1 is Brett Favre.
That's what I thought. Who's number 2?
George Blanda.
Okay. Anyone of note in our era in the top 5 or 10?
Aside from Peyton Manning, the closest person to the modern era is going to be Vinny Testaverde.
Oh yeah,
with 267 coming
36 picks for the Bucks.
Yeah.
1 year, not good.
I don't care about the interceptions as much, but like I said, this is where Eli's crazy. I mean, in his 2 Super Bowl runs, 15 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. In his other 4, 3 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. And I've argued with Joe about this before. 1 Super Bowl run was amazing. 2011. 1,219 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, averaged 304 yards per game in 2011. He was amazing. The first time they beat the Patriots, he did a great job not making mistakes and managing. He had 6 touchdowns, 1 interception over 4 games.
But the reason that year is important is because it knocked off undefeated Patriots.
100%. I'm not disclaiming that. But my point is this. Eli had 1 amazing playoff run. He's still a Hall of Famer. I'm just saying he had, statistically speaking, he had 1 amazing playoff run, which, by the way, shouldn't be discounted. I love Russell Wilson. Wilson's never had close to a run that Eli had in 2011. I'm not discounting. I'm just saying.
Did they win that as a wild card?
Yes.
Probably one of the last times that happened.
I like what I pulled up as far as Joe Flacco versus Eli Manning's playoff numbers. They are so eerily similar. It's kind of wild. If you look at Flacco's Super Bowl run when they won against the 49ers, it's almost dead on. 1,140 yards, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 285 yards a game.
Is Joe Flacco elite?
Eli's 1,200 yards, 9. Eli and Flacco's Super Bowl and just playoffs in general. If you put Eli and Flacco side by side in the playoffs, they're basically the same. Eli has more yards per game. Flacco has more touchdowns. a slightly better record. To me, that's the comparison. The difference between Joe Flacco and Eli Manning is that Eli did it longer for one team. The numbers are there.
Oh, wait, are you making a case that that Joe Flacco should be a Hall of Famer?
No, I'm not.
It sounds like you are.
I'm not.
Well, it sounds like you are.
He didn't have the longevity that Eli had.
But he has the same numbers. He has a Super Bowl.
Eli has 2.
That's correct. I think the only quarterback that has 2 that's not in the Hall of Fame is Jim Plunkett.
Raider?
That's right. Now, 2, Joe and I were talking about this a week or 2 ago. 2 elevates you to elite status. I mean, that's the chase that Russell Wilson's going for. Aaron Rodgers. That's the chase that Drew Brees is going for. It just changes. It just puts you in rarefied air. And I think, Eli gets in because for 2 reasons. I mean, he beats the undefeated Patriots, then he beats them again, and then he does the great stick your tongue out face on SNL.
Oh, really?
It's a great face.
Yeah. By the way, I see Joe is in the YouTube comment
Joe
section.
Prano is?
He's basically half alive.
He should be loving this conversation.
See, he always gets hung up on Eli's weapons. And I'm not going to hear that argument. I'm just not going
We're
to hear
saying
it.
he's a Hall of Famer. What else does he want us to say?
I'm not going to hear that argument. I'm just not.
Well, what is he saying? Read the comment.
Let's talk about Eli's weapons in his career. Does Mahomes have more playmakers on this roster than Eli had in 20 years? I'm just not going to hear that. That's just not true. As far as that Eli had no weapons, it's just not true.
But he also won 2 Super Bowls. I don't understand. What does he want to be higher ranked all time? He's perfectly ranked. He's an above average quarterback with 2 elite Super Bowl runs. He's going to make it to the Hall of Fame. I don't really understand what the discussion is.
Plaxico wasn't shit. Manningham wasn't shit.
Plaxico was good.
Even Akeem Nicks,
I believe it's Hakeem.
a high draft. I'm just saying, like if you compare those guys versus a lot of other teams' wide receivers, I think actually Seattle's a good comp for the wide receivers that Russell's had. When do you think that's a good comp? They got some guys who can make some plays.
Wait, what? Tom Brady has. Look at Tom Brady's guys. I mean, in the early years, I can't even name outside of Troy Brown. I'm trying to name guys that he was running with.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 1 year where he had Randy Moss and Eli slayed the dragon. I mean, then Gronk came in later, but I'm talking like the early Patriots years. It wasn't like they were like just absolutely loaded up with wide receiver talent.
He's a Hall of Famer. Like, no one's debating that. But that's why Eli is so interesting.
Now, I threw out a name off air that I want to compare him to. He won 0 Super Bowls. But Tony Romo. Is Tony Romo, if you put Tony Romo on another team, is he, like, let's put him in a vacuum. Let's put him, we're doing a schoolyard pick. Do you want Tony Romo or Eli Manning?
I don't want Romo because he gets hurt.
He got hurt like late in his career, though, right?
A bunch, though. And
isn't it sad that Joe loves Eli, but he's not quite as healthy as Eli? Just sitting there talking about Eli's longevity.
Call that irony, folks.
Shout out to you, Joe.
Boy, I'm very impressed that Joe. I got a video from Joe about an hour ago. The fact that he's even watching this, he was definitely on some painkillers.
Good for you. Save a few for us.
But Romo also, it's interesting. Romo had the playoff meltdowns. Eli had a lot too, but he had 2 runs. That's the difference.
The legacy of Eli is the runs. I mean, let's just say that. I mean, Romo, if you talk to the analytic nerds, Romo is much higher rated by the math gods than he is in the NFL fandom.
But this is where the analytics, I think, can You can throw some of those aside again because he did get injured. He wasn't on the field. I see Aaron's chomping at the bit.
Well, I just want to kind of riff off some of Romo's playoff stats. So he had 4 playoff appearances, and his first 2 were bad. Both times 200 yards passing or less. But his last 2 appearances, he threw for over 400 yards. Both times. The first time 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. The second time the last time he was in the playoffs, 484 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions.
It's against the Packers in Lambeau.
Yeah, 2014.
And then one of those didn't count.
The one to Dez didn't count. So, I mean, you look at it, that's a 50-50 split. His first 2 games, maybe the nerves got to him, but the last 2, I mean, he was nails.
Yeah, but
again, he doesn't win the Super Bowl.
they had some like the meltdowns against who was it? When he had T.O., did they lose to the Giants or was it Green Bay? They lost that game at home when they went, I think, 13-3.
Yeah, I believe that was the Giants. And also, everyone remembers the Seattle debacle. Where he was he the last quarterback to hold for kickers? I mean, I feel like he destroyed that job for backups and whatever else. So it's over.
Well, here's how I look at the end of the day with Eli. If you're a fan of an NFL franchise and your QB gets you 2 Super Bowls in 16 years, you trade off all those what we call slightly above average years, right?
I couldn't agree with you anymore. I'm glad you brought this point up because we're 2 weeks away from the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But everyone is talking about, the Niners and the Chiefs, obviously. But if we think about the Aaron Rodgers and the Niners, and like that was a storyline that Joe and I talked about ad nauseum, that the people are going to be talking about the Niners bypassed Aaron Rodgers. But now the Niners have gone to more Super Bowls in the Aaron Rodgers era than Aaron Rodgers. It's more than just quarterbacking. It's about
They got to win one, though.
the Niners.
Aaron's at least won one.
That's true. But the organization is getting there.
Yeah.
And they're built to get there again next year. So let me run down a couple names, and you tell me schoolyard pick. Who do you take?
When we say schoolyard, are we talking one game?
Let's say one season in their prime. One season in their prime.
One season in their prime.
Yeah. Everyone's healthy.
Like one season of schoolyard ball.
Whatever.
I'm just trying to get.
Ben Roethlisberger.
I mean, that's a great comparison. Ben gets hurt a lot, too.
Let's throw Nick on there.
I'm going to say Ben. I'm going to give a slight edge to Ben.
What do you say, Nick?
I'm sure we all know.
Well, you know who I'm taking.
Yeah,
Come on,
I know.
get out of here. I do have their stats pulled up, though.
Let's do it.
You want to do playoffs?
Sure.
Okay. Well, obviously they both have the 2 Super Bowls. I mean, I know it's kind of like a nerd stat to go by QBR, but that's kind of like it does a good job of measuring touchdowns, interceptions, all that.
You're
They're
an ESPN
oddly similar, like 86.5 in the playoffs for Ben, and then we had it up for Eli as well. I believe it was
7.4.
87.4. So Eli actually has the edge for that because Big Ben in his early years, he was going to the Super Bowl. I mean, his second year, and he's actually the worst quarterback statistically to win a Super Bowl, and that was Super Bowl 40. But I mean, schoolyard ball, you're taking Ben all day.
Agree. But when I say schoolyard pick, I'm saying like I take you or I take you. I'm not saying schoolyard ball.
I'll take Ben.
I agree. I take Ben.
Of course.
All right. Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
Let's say.
But again, that's what's fascinating. Brees has one. Rodgers has one. Again, Eli's got 2. Like that's where he's got it. You just can't deny that.
That's very true. Okay, I'll do 2. I'll do 3 more. Let's say Eli Manning or Phillip Rivers.
Eli. That's pretty easy for me.
Eli Manning or Steve Young.
Steve Young.
One Super Bowl, but yes. Eli Manning or Troy Aikman?
Ooh. Talk about a guy who had weapons. I'm gonna
Very true.
go Eli.
Eli for Troy Aikman. This is a debate right here. Wow. Joe, do you do that for Joe? Joe is like Dennis Hopper character in Hoosiers. He's sitting up in the hospital, and he was like,
That wasn't a hospital. He had a straitjacket.
Wait, he was dealing with
he
some
was
things.
detoxing. Frano has a straitjacket?
Well, Joe will be doing some detoxing of his own very soon. Okay.
I kind of threw that one for Prano.
No, that was nice. Last one. I'm just going to pull this one out. I'm trying to think of like
These are good. I like these.
Stanga's asking Eli or Elway.
Elway.
Get out of here, Stanga, with that one.
I mean, it's Elway.
That is not even close.
Elway played in how many? 5 Super Bowls?
Elway might be in the Rushmore.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any other ones? In his era.
In his era.
I'm trying to think of in the era.
Prano's taking Steve Young
I think
over Eli.
That's the right call.
Yeah.
In the era. No, there's none I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like Ben,
Phillip.
Breeze. You take Rodgers over
Yeah.
Eli. Yeah, okay, that's probably where he is, but he's a Hall of Famer.
No, he is. For sure. And anybody who says he's not, Barry McCockiner, that's a bad take. It's just a bad take. Like I said, at the end of the day, we'll wrap up this Eli discussion. At the end of the day, dude, you don't watch football if you don't appreciate 2 Super Bowls in 16 years. That's all it is, dude, at the end of the day. Obviously, he's got the cumulative regular season stats, but 2 Super Bowls at the end of the year where, again, Aaron Rodgers won, Drew Brees won, Russell Wilson won. People don't realize how hard it is to win 2. It's such a difficult game. That's why these guys got to take advantage of it. We don't know what's going to happen. Mahomes is amazing. You don't know what teams he's going to be on.
Still has 0.
Yeah.
I mean, Marino got there year 2, never got there again.
Never sniffed it. So, yeah. Hall of Famer. You know who else is a Hall of Famer?
Who's that?
GTP Picks.
On fire right now.
On fire. Guys, if you're paying out your bookie, stop doing that. Just stop it. Stop being an idiot. It's 2020. Are we doing New Year's resolutions? Don't be paying your bookie. Get some help from our friends at GTP Picks. It's a data-driven sports betting service that offers winning sports betting advice for an affordable price. Follow their advice and win. It's that simple. Right now, GTP Picks is offering a limited offer to all the dirt balls. Not just some, Tug. All of them. For the rest of January, all GTP Picks are 25% off. In addition to this discount, every purchase will include the Super Bowl 54 preview and every Super Bowl 54 sports betting recommendations. Now, we do the prop bets. We're going to be discussing those next week. GTP Picks will have all that for you, all the amazing prop bets. They're going to win you a lot of money on Super Bowl Sunday. Simply visit GTP Picks and use promo code DIRTY to unlock this limited time offer. If you like making money while watching sports, investing with GTP Picks is a no-brainer. So go ahead and do that and make yourself some money as Tug does a live selfie. This is so meta. From his phone while we're live on YouTube, while we're recording on Mevo, while we're recording on the Zoom, which will also be the audio. My head is going to explode.
Boom.
Love it. A lot of stuff to talk, Tug. Hall of Fame. We went from one Hall of Fame, Eli Manning, to another Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Derek Jeter and the Canadian Larry Walker have been inducted into the 2020 class of Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame.
If they don't create a Hall of Fame exhibit for Larry Walker's shirt yesterday where he took the call with the SpongeBob Hawaiian shirt.
Now, I was on a flight across the country I saw he made it, of course. I did not follow up and see his shirt. I'm
my
excited to see this.
Okay, let me pull it up for you just so you can see. Because when you know you're going to be on the air
Yeah.
taking this call.
You know what he looks like? Larry Walker,
Bass fisherman for sure.
or member of the white supremacist group. Like, not going to lie. He's got the goatee, the bald hair. Nothing against Larry Walker. I'm sure he's a lovely gentleman. But it's an interesting outfit.
It's a great outfit.
Kudos to him. I believe, am I correct in this? Is he the first Canadian born? Am I just completely off on that? Did I just make up something?
I love it. And we'll have someone fact check that. I'm sure someone knows. I like it.
Long time in the making. I believe this was his final year
10th ballot.
on the ballot.
Made it by 6 votes.
Ooh.
There was a lot of discussion. I follow a couple Hall of Fame voters, and they were, going around. Some people revealed their ballots. Some people didn't.
Yeah.
And they thought for the longest time that he was going to be short, but he ended up getting in by 6 votes.
I heard it was the SpongeBob shirt.
That's
Those 6 voters were
Absolutely.
big fans of Squidward. And they said, we're going to have to give the edge and nod to old Larry Walker.
We got to do it. He's smart. What I really love and what confuses me is that the Nationals sent out a tweet congratulating him, and you forget that the Nats are the old Expos organization.
Ah, you do forget.
So it took my brain a second to compute.
The Nats being formerly the Montreal Expos is kind of like Bruce to Caitlyn Jenner.
Okay.
Do you like where I'm going?
Okay.
Like I've almost forgotten now that there was an Olympic athlete, Bruce Jenner. Am I way off in this?
No, I mean, I'm listening.
Like, I feel like that's the comparison.
That's the ideal comparison. Well, I will say this. An old Expos hat is smooth.
I agree.
So smooth.
Can you refresh my memory? What's the JB stand for?
No idea.
No one knows.
Someone dig that up, what the Expos hat meant. But it just looks so good. Compared to, we all love the Nats. Looks like a Walgreens,
Oh, yeah.
emblem. Not the best.
The Nats or the Expos, the hat looked good. Seeing 4 people at that stadium watching them play, not
and
so
some
good.
they had some talent, too.
Bro. Larry Walker, Pedro Martinez,
Yep. Dennis Martinez, I believe, threw a no-hitter.
Vlad Guerrero,
Yep. How many Hall of Famers you need? I mean, they were
Randy
actually
Johnson.
they were winning the division when the strike happened in '94, I believe.
They were. So were my Reds. Trust me, I remember that. All right, what do we got here? What does the JB stand for? It's a Canadian French.
I believe it's Jerry Park for Jerry Park Stadium.
No, it's JB, I think.
JB?
Do none of us know?
That's why we have people here helping us out.
Jerry Park Stadium? No, it's got to be something with French Canada.
French Canada. Oh yes,
I'm back.
He's fully back.
The province, Quebec. We got.
There's nothing on here. Yeah.
You can't Google what does
That's why that's in my search right now.
the JB stand for on the Expos hat. 2 interns.
Question for you. I mean, Prano is obviously the guy to weigh in on this.
Yeah.
You can too, of course. Jeter gets in on his first ballot, 1 vote away from unanimous. The voters are back to their shenanigans.
I hate it. Obviously, Jeter's a Hall of Famer. This whole you gotta wait. All right,
Sorry, what was your question about the hat again?
what does it stand for?
So the only thing I found on it is that it's not a JB. It's actually just like a stylized EB, which stands for Expos Baseball. And taken together, the letters form an M representing Montreal.
And that's why they left. Too fucking confusing. I mean, this whole time I thought it was a JB. Everyone else did. That's why they left. I don't feel bad anymore. I take back everything I said.
It's a good dig, Aaron. It's a good dig.
I love this. I'm telling you guys. If I get this new couch, we're having Slumber parties, the three of us.
Oh man, this is a whole
boy.
video right here.
Yeah.
Nothing,
This whole couch thing.
Big brother cam.
nothing romantic. Just three guys on a couch. I mean, if you want it to be romantic, that's cool. I won't judge. I don't know if I'll partake.
I'm just saying, after the night's sleep I had last night, you need a new couch.
You didn't sleep well last
I
night.
didn't sleep well last night. And there goes my mic.
Well, I'm not blaming you. You're going to sleep at Prano's tonight. So
Yes, I am. Yeah.
you think you didn't get sleep last night. Tonight you're going to hear crackheads screaming at each other.
I'm looking forward to it.
Are you?
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
All right, well, good luck. Back to the Jeter thing, though. I hate it, Tug. Obviously, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He also was a defensive liability, but I can look past that. I know Joe would want to harp on that. I don't want to speak for Prano. Jeter was not good at defense, though.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of his numbers as a negative DRS, whatever the hell that means. But Larry Walker, Jeter had 5 Gold Gloves. People forget.
No, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Larry Walker had 7.
The Gold Gloves doesn't mean anything to me. That's a popularity contest. Huh. The Gold Gloves, if you break down Jeter's defensive war, it was in the negatives throughout his career. I looked it up I actually compared Jeter versus my guy, Barry Larkin. Like, defensively, it doesn't even compare. If you look,
no one thinks of Jeter, as an elite defender outside of what I talked about last week. These, which
a lot of idiots do.
Joe debunked, these plays with the swipe and the run into the outfield stands. He has these highlights to kind of carry him with the defensive image. But yes, no one thinks of Jeter as like
I think a
an
lot
elite
do.
defender.
What did Prano say? I think a lot do.
No, I think he was trying to debunk any theory that he's not a great defender. I mean, that he is. He's not.
But my point is the Jeter legacy, in a way, is similar to the Kobe thing in this regard. Everyone just hops on this bandwagon without doing research. Kobe Bryant was also a defensive liability. That is a factually proven statement. He was a defensive liability. Kobe had, I think, 9 or 10 first-team all-defense, which is a joke because when he was on the floor, he was a defensive liability.
I would need to see those facts.
Oh, I'm going to have a YouTube video that we're recording this week. New segment, teaser, called Facts Only, that I will be doing with my buddy over here, Nick D'Alessandro. And the first one's going to be Kobe Bryant. Great all-time player, also overrated. They can both exist, people. Come on. Hop on this train where two things can exist. I don't know why we live in this world that doesn't say Kobe Bryant or Derek Jeter aren't first ballot Hall of Famers. They are. They also can be overrated. You don't have to suck. And that's all I'm saying. Jeter, offensively, amazing. Playoffs, clutch. These are all facts. Also a liability. It's no big deal. You just weren't that good on defense. He's interesting because he did it for such a long time, but he also never won an MVP, never won a batting title, also had 3,400 hits, also benefited by stacked lineups that he could have guys on base. It also doesn't take away how clutch he was. All these things can exist into one giant Jeter sandwich, guys, which is probably being eaten by a supermodel because that guy got around. I'll tell you what.
The thing I know about Jeter, everyone has rumors that they hear about Jeter, but he was able to curate his own career, the image of his own career as well as anyone
brilliantly
in the business. His work with Nike to his ability to sort of
Gatorade
to his ability to get the stuff out into the media that he wanted to get filtered out, but keep the rest in. Never got into any sort of scandals. Was sort of seen as like the George Clooney of baseball. Like you said, his 3,000th hit was a big hit. Like had big timely, hits Just really well choreographed career. On top of the fact that he's the captain and he went through an elite winning phase in the
Oh,
late
yeah.
90s.
And again, none of that should be taken for granted at all. But brilliant marketing. Again, I do see a lot of similarities with him and Kobe because of that. Like, we want to gloss over certain flaws in somebody because the TV commercials told me that. Dude, people get brainwashed very easily. And as the older I get, I just learn this more and more. People just want to believe what they hear or see a tweet. But again, Jeter should have gotten all the votes, if we want to bring it back to that. This notion that Major League Baseball writers sit on this pedestal and say, you can't get all votes your first time around. It's ludicrous. And in the same token, it's ludicrous to think that Kurt Schilling, Roger Clemens, and Barry Bonds are not in.
Schilling was the closest that did not get in, right?
70%.
So he's going to get in.
He's going to get in. That was his 8th time on the ballot.
So he has 2 more attempts, right? If 10 is Larry Walker's 10th, I don't know how many attempts. I thought it was 15, but it maybe 10. Clemens is what? What was his number?
61%.
And what was Bonds?
60.7. It's a joke. It is a joke. There is no sport, Tug, that is marred by more stupid voters, controversies. We're dealing with this thing right now with the Astros, the history of baseball, the steroids. I don't. It's tough for me to follow this goddamn sport now. It is. I tweeted this out. It's really tough for me to go to games this year. It's going to be tough. And I love going to baseball games. I love the pace of it, the social environment of baseball games. You know, a nice warm day. It doesn't matter what city you're in. I love all that. But when baseball continues to demonize guys like Bonds that they propped up, or Schilling because he's an alt-right guy, who cares? Like, I don't. Like, NFL has their problems. I look at baseball and, like, it's embarrassing to me when I see this stuff. Guys who aren't getting in who should be in. Or voters who are not voting because, well, you shouldn't get in right away because I'm a guy who writes for the Dayton Daily News and I have a vote. I played on the Findlay High School team back in 1962, and you shouldn't get in right away. You got to earn it. Dorks. You're all dorks.
Love your character work.
I was doing a lot of acting. I took up an acting class, actually,
I love it.
in the last 2 weeks.
Nice. I actually going to go the other way. I like the fact that someone withheld a vote because the tradition has been set for so long. I was actually kind of mad when they let in Mariano Rivera at 100% because they have so many greats. It almost became a badge of honor to get in and not have the perfect ballot. Now that the perfect ballot exists, now there's something to grade against. I kind of like the fact that every great player that's ever played the game before Mariano Rivera got in without a perfect ballot. I mean, obviously, I'd like to see 100%, but now that it was been established for so long, I would like to have seen. I like the idea of the guy who played for Findlay High School in 1962. I played for the Findlay High School.
The Findlay Braves.
The Findlay Braves in 1962.
I was a pitcher, a left fielder, and sometimes I even played catcher when we were shorthanded. Oh, that's a real newspaper, the Dayton Daily News.
I believe it. Born in Dayton. Everyone knows that about me.
You are a native of
That's right.
the OHIO.
That's right.
I forget that about you.
I know.
Tug, you are also an enigma of all the teams you like,
That's
the
correct.
places you've lived.
That's correct.
You're a traveling man.
I know. I'm the 6th member of the Traveling Wilburys. Me, Dylan, Petty, ELO guy.
I was like, I'm just gonna let him go. I don't know where Coker's going with this, but I'm gonna just let him go.
Oh, God.
You've been doing a little acting lately, right? That's your
Did. Worked on a show that's coming out.
little Disney Channel.
Nope, ABC. It is owned by Disney, but it is on network television. I should be able to reveal that whenever they let me say that, but in the next week or two. And I for all the work I put on this show, all I ask is one thing. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Please, because I'm going to be making a movie this year. I'm going to write it and direct it. I need all of your support. But B, I want you guys to watch the things that I'm in. That's all I ask.
It's funny. My little brother said to me when I was home, he's like, just watching an old Office episode. And he listens to Dirty Sports, but maybe not closely enough, clearly. He's like, dude, was Tug playing? He's like, I think he was like half asleep. He's like, was Tug playing John Krasinski's brother? I'm like, yeah. It's like that episode where they're just like, they're giving what's
Pam.
Where they're giving Pam
Hard time.
I was like, yeah. He's like, I thought that was Tug. I'm like, bro, you think I mess around with no names on the Dirty Sports podcast?
No.
Our number one fill-in co-host is amazing. And then I told my little brother, you gotta watch his Hannah Montana as the Snake Wrangler.
My career is, we're only a third of the way in. It's already run the gamut of stuff. So,
hey man,
I'm excited for phase 2. And phase 2 starts this year, and all the dirtballs out there are rolling with me, and I'm rolling with all of you. Let's go make some great stuff.
I agree.
Congrats to Larry Walker. Congrats to Derek Jeter. Congrats to me for acting in 2020. And the big thing is coming up for Dirty Sports. I can't wait for you to reveal these big things.
Oh yeah, I'll do a little sneak peek. A big thing will be dropped next week.
It's called a tease.
Oh yeah, little tease, a little Andy Ruther just the tip tease. just little tippy tip right there. Although is that really just the tip? I'm giving you nothing.
It's very true.
I'm not giving them anything. One more baseball story. They are going to test the automated umps in spring training. This is very confusing to me, but not actually use them to make calls. So in games, they will be using them, but it will not be actually making decisions. Does that make any sense to you? I don't really fully understand it. So it's like in the background, they're going to be using them to see how it works, but it won't actually be affecting the calls.
Is it the equivalent of like when Fox has like the pitch zone, and they're sort of like monitoring how closely correlated the umps calls and the computer's calls are?
Maybe that's a good analogy.
What do you think, Aaron?
I think you're kind of looking at it just from the wrong perspective. I look at it as a
If you look at someone's tattoo on their ankle.
yes, exactly. No, I think it's think of it as quality control. Let's see how many the umps got right compared to what they got wrong based on the system, and then kind of weed out the bad ones from there, ideally, and see if umps are good enough to keep long term, or if these robots are really that much better, and then let's implement it, from there.
At this point,
Fast forward to 5 years when umps are umping the game. When computers are umping the game. I just want to see a manager go off on a computer. I just want to see him like just shovel the dirt up to the computer and try to de-wire the computer over a bad call.
no, I want them to download malware to the computer. Right? Like the ump gets mad. He's like, I'm giving you malware.
Yeah.
You're going to explode. But wouldn't it be, I think what they'll still do is the ump's on the field, right? And he's got an earpiece with the computer saying, which then creates huge conspiracies, right? Did the computer really say that?
Yeah, exactly.
Or was he going on the cuff?
I mean, I feel the more transparency, the better, right? I feel like
Look, at this point, automation, the whole country's going this way. Have you guys been following Andrew Yang? Are you part of the Yang gang? Get on my level,
I mean,
people.
if you're a rapper or comedian, you are getting so many endorsements from for Andrew Yang,
Has he?
Dave Chappelle. I believe it was Drake's Canadian, but it was somebody else who was big. Oh, it was Donald Glover. Donald Glover, Dave Chappelle.
I like Andrew Yang a lot. I do. But a lot of the things he says to me, like, again, he's not like a politician, but not to go down this, but that's what's going to happen with baseball, and that's what he says with automation, with drivers and truck drivers. There's already a massive truck driver shortage in this country. I know this because my brother works for Cisco. Like, you can be starting salary for a truck driver, and they will pay for 6 weeks training. If anybody's looking for a job, by the way, any dirtballs, if you want to hear us and 1,000 other podcasts, $80,000 a year to start, and they'll pay for 6 weeks training.
Wait, is this an ad read?
No, I'm just I don't know why I'm giving Cisco a free plug right now. Clearly, I've been away for a few weeks. These are conversations that I've had with family. But the point is, the automation, if it's going to work and be the most accurate, why are we not doing that? And I love your idea of the umps going after the computers.
I mean, there's all these analytic nerds, and they're like, just like that's the next Houston Astros scandal. Is like the analytics nerds, like you said, give them malware. The malware, they slip it in the computer.
Is malware still a thing?
Oh, for sure. I don't know. Ask Nick. He went to college like last year.
Like Nick, how does somebody give? You're a smart guy. Like, if somebody wanted to give someone a virus, what are the tactics in 2020?
This is funny because one of my buddies, he actually got fired from a job because he accidentally downloaded malware and crashed the whole company's computer system on his first week on the job. So like it's kind of hidden. It's kind of hidden. Like, what people will do is they'll disguise it, like maybe this looks like a work email or a school email or something like that, and then like you just download a file that you would typically download, and then if you accidentally download that, then you kind of get the virus.
I like the idea of like baseball managers thinking they know what malware is, and they just like have a bag of. They just think it's like some stuff they just sprinkle on a computer, like it's like Zoolander.
Yeah.
Like, you have malware.
Yeah, I love it.
Second Zoolander reference this week.
That's right.
Yeah.
Second one.
Yeah.
Good movie.
I think it's underappreciated.
I completely agree.
I think Ben Stiller actually.
I was just going to say.
Not to go on a tangent. Ben Stiller is underappreciated.
I was just about to say that.
I mean, he like. Let's talk about it for 2 seconds, and then we'll go back to sports.
Of course.
Tropic Thunder. I mean, there's a Tug in there, so we gotta love that.
He starred, wrote, and directed that. Am I correct in that?
No, that's incorrect.
Okay.
I believe
He directed it.
yes, but the writer was the dude from Justin Theroux.
It is Justin Theroux. That's correct.
There's something about Mary.
I remember seeing that in the theater,
Classic.
laughing my ass off.
Yeah. The flashback scenes where he's playing his character embraces and he like zips his balls up and it's just
The Ben Stiller show on MTV.
Ben Stiller show's great.
And you know what? I just had this discussion with my brothers while I was home. His cameos. Ben Stiller in Happy Gilmore is one of the most underrated, funny characters.
Yes.
Well, your fingers are going to hurt, too, because you just pulled, what does he say, like lawn duty or something?
I mean, Dodgeball is like not the perfect. It's not a perfect movie, but if you want some laughs, you'll get them.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Ben Stiller, couldn't agree more. Underappreciated. Okay.
Back to sports.
Ben Stiller, Eli Manning. Who you got? I mean, Ben's had some runs, bro.
Yeah, let's think about it.
Meet the Parents. We didn't even mention those.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
And we're not even doing his serious stuff.
Can't think of one.
Who do you got, Ben Stiller, Eli? I got Ben.
100%.
Jerry Stiller?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm really appreciating right now, Tug, is my brand new hoodie from Untuck It. Look at this hoodie. How fresh do I look? And it's light. That's what I love. I got a bunch of new gear sent Obviously, I was going through a tough time. Luckily, my friends at Untuck It helped me out. I got a new pair of gray chinos. I got this hoodie. And I got a great collared long sleeve polo. All from Untuck It in the last couple weeks. Guys, don't look like a slob. That's my first thing. You're not going to look like a slob if you wear Untuck It, because obviously the name is in the brand. You can untuck it, and it fits absolutely perfectly. It'll change your experience, how you look, how you feel. They have over 50 fit combinations. Untuck It shirts look great on tall, short, slim, and athletic guys of all ages. So go to untuckit.com right now, because get you 20% off on your first order if you use promo code DIRTY. Don't just take my word for it. Try Untuck It for yourself. Visit untuckit.com and use code DIRTY for 20% off on your first order. They even offer free shipping and returns on all orders in the U.S., which I love because, to be honest, I wasn't sure if I wanted to get a medium or a large hoodie, but I didn't have to worry because I knew they would do free returns. That's Untuckit, UNTUCKIT.com, promo code DIRTY for 20% off on your first order. It will get you guys looking nice and fresh. Everything from the leisure clothes like this hoodie to nice dress shirts, nice dress slacks, to chinos, you name it. Untuckit.com, promo code DIRTY.
Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh, yeah. You know who loves that one? That's a Walt Ruther fave.
Also, and he also has a great. I think he has a production company. Ben Stiller does, called Red Hour. Produces some great stuff.
I feel like he's been producing a lot more.
A lot of stuff, and he's getting to the dramatic fold. But he had a series that lasted one season on Comedy Central that I absolutely love, and no one really talks about it. But I think it's one of the funniest shows I've seen in the last 10 years, called Big Time in Hollywood, Florida. If you guys haven't seen this show,
I remember.
please go watch it. It is so funny. And he's in the pilot episode playing a character. It's hilarious. Cuba Gooding Jr. is in it. Like, they have a bunch of great cameos. It's a hilarious show. Alex Anfenger is one of the creators. Anyway, shout out to Ben Stiller. Better than Eli Manning.
Will? I feel like, almost in honor of Prano, he loves the titles that are greater than. I almost feel like the title is Ben Stiller. Aaron is laughing over it. Get on the mic here, guys. You're giggling too much off air. What's the deal?
No, I was just laughing because I looked at the comment section again, and all I see is Joe Prano writes, "How dare you?" That's it. Just how dare you to Ben Stiller over Eli Manning.
Maybe that's the title. That's what I was going to say. Ben Stiller is greater than Eli Manning. I don't know if we want that as a title, but
You're the title guy.
I know. It's been fun seeing him when I'm gone. Like my thought process is actually how's that gone down? How's that gone down, Nick? Because you've been loading the episodes.
With what exactly? The titles?
The titles. Who's been in charge of the titles? You or Prano?
It's been kind of like a mixture of everyone. Like, we kind of have a little meeting afterwards. Aaron's writing down possible titles throughout the whole thing. I think last episode, Tug and Joe, they kind of had a moment there in the middle, and then Joe's just like, all right, that's the title, and then we don't even question it. So it's been good. Do you think they've been okay?
I think they've been great.
All right.
I was just curious. I think we should do something with Gritty for this title, maybe. How wild is this Gritty news? Gritty, the Philadelphia Flyers mascot, is being investigated for hitting a 13-year-old fan.
I saw clips of this.
Speaking of Ben Stiller,
yeah, seriously.
This sounds like a comedy sketch. So, according to reports from the Philadelphia Inquirer, police in Philly are investigating a complaint that Gritty. This is a real news story. The Flyers mascot punched a 13-year-old following a photo shoot at an event in November for season ticket holders. I think it's pretty awesome.
I mean, hockey. Look, Nick covered college hockey. He may be able to weigh on this more than we can, but like, hockey needs stories. And he's doing this for the NHL.
And I don't follow hockey, obviously, but correct me if I'm wrong. Gritty is like the most popular NHL mascot.
The NHL has a superstar problem, but Gritty is probably the most recognizable figure in hockey at the moment, I'd have to say.
So maybe Gritty sounds like, things went to his head a little bit, Tug, right?
And just to be clear, this isn't in costume Gritty doing this. This is like the person Gritty.
No, this is Gritty in costume.
Gritty in costume is punching this kid?
Yeah, this is what makes the story even better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Again, this like a episode of Workaholics or something. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
It's definitely ridiculous.
Aaron, what do you got to say here? I love the tandem of the passing the mic back
I
and
know.
forth.
They're wearing the same color shirts. It really is amazing, this team.
It's very cohesive.
I really hope you didn't already say this, and I was just reading, so I missed it. But a quote from one of the articles said, "This 13-year-old kid named Brandon playfully patted Gritty on the head after a photo was taken, and as he was walking away, Gritty left his chair, took a running start, and punched my son as hard as he could." End quote.
Gritty gets down and fucking Gritty.
I'm trying to think of a comp for this. Like, I don't remember any other episodes. I mean, I'm late. I'm running through Succession a little later than most, but episode 2 they put Kieran Culkin's character in a like a mascot attire, and he says disparaging things to people, but I can't think of a comp.
Now, I've said this before on the show. I, for a few months, was the Hamburglar at a McDonald's in high school for kids' parties. How'd you like that? How'd you like me showing up in the Hamburger outfit?
I mean, you're the right size.
Don't appreciate that dig. Do not appreciate that dig. So I'm trying to put myself in Gritty's shoes. At no point, now I was dealing with younger children. At no point did I want to punch any of the kids. Now 13, but 13-year-olds could be little shits. I'm not justifying what Gritty did. That's an age I was a little shit at 13.
Oh yeah.
But the thought of Gritty getting a running start.
But it's classic Philadelphia, right?
Oh, yeah. Classic Philly. Philly gonna Philly. And you know what? To be honest, I would love to see a guy, like if he goes to jail in the mascot outfit. Can you imagine them processing him
I do like that.
in his full attire? I love it.
Probably beloved in the Pennsylvania penitentiary.
I heard Gritty was so beloved nationally that he inspired the Kansas State fight.
That's amazing. Silvio D'Souza loves himself some Gritty.
Yeah. He picked up a bar stool. Was it what do you call that? Like a seat? Just a bar, like it looks like a, what do you call it?
Yep.
A chair. I forgot words.
Lost you, yep.
He picked up a chair, almost swung it. Did you watch the end of this fight?
I did watch a lot of the fight. What's funny about the fight to me is, one of the times that you and I were on, remember how we talked about we made a comparison to the white receiver in the Bills Super Bowls who chased down Leon Lett.
Don Beebe.
And the kid who stole a dunk early in the college season. They're getting blown out.
Yeah.
And he did a dunk, and he was like, "This is my," he kind of like was pumping his chest up, and they were down 50, because Kansas State tried to do that.
Yeah.
And Kansas came in and said, "No, you're not doing this here."
Yeah.
Started a brawl, and we agree with this. Like, don't do this. Don't do this chump move.
But I took some flack for that.
You did.
Yeah, I saw some social media flack.
What were they saying?
I don't know, but I think people didn't understand me. I'm not against hustle. But when you're losing by 4 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, it's like, dude, give it up. There's a difference between hustling and, again, Not a good look for white people. Like that's when we're like, oh, not a good look for us. Fucking Don Beebe.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously some bad blood between Kansas State and Kansas. The game was obviously way out of hand.
I heard they were fighting over which is a shittier city in Kansas, Lawrence or where's Kansas
Manhattan.
State? Manhattan, which is offensive to the borough of Manhattan. When
Yeah.
in America are we going to stop naming shitty Midwestern towns after great towns?
Name another example.
Oh, the amount of Parises.
Okay.
Or
yeah, Paris, Texas, yeah.
Or Rome.
Yeah, I hear you.
I believe there's a Rome, Kentucky. They're in Ohio, right by where I grew up. My parents' house. There is a part of Ohio, and I laughed today just driving by it. California, Ohio. I'm like, there's nothing California. Nothing.
No flat labs there. Float labs. Flat labs. There might be some flat labs.
Yeah, those are dead dogs that have been hit on the fucking street by truckers.
The Silvio De Souza story is so interesting. He's suspended indefinitely. This is the player that is a part of this Adidas
Scandal. Yeah.
So his career is one of the weirdest,
Yeah.
nonsensical college careers. There will be a guaranteed 30 for 30 on Silvio De Souza.
Yeah. Is Gritty making an appearance? I just want a Gritty appearance. Just a cameo.
He will probably be a talking head. He'll probably get the interview. For sure. But
It was a wild fight.
it was a wild fight, especially for like prominent college basketball teams. You usually don't see
Yeah.
that. A top 5 team.
Was this at Fall Gallon?
It was
It was in Lawrence.
correct. Yes, that's correct.
By the way, fun fact about me, done a few shows there.
I recall hearing this. How were the shows there?
I did, I think, 3 or 4 shows at fraternities. Phi Kappa Psi, I believe it was the Phi Psi guys, brought me back 3 years in a row. Extremely racist, by the way. Like, I'm not going to lie, extremely racist. And, yeah, I did their show 3 years in a row. I don't know what that says about me, but I did do this. Once I learned they were racist, I didn't learn that till the second year. I purposely booked a black comic as an opener because I knew they were racist. And I told him that, and he was amazing. I let him know going in, so he opened up his act. They would do a brotherhood event, and then they'd follow it up with a party. The girls would come after the comedy show. The brotherhood event, picture 200 to 250 kids in their cafeteria, just out of their minds. I told him that.
Wait, there's 200 kids in one fraternity?
It was huge. It was the biggest fraternity. At the time, it was the biggest fraternity on campus.
Wow.
Big frat.
How do you know your pledge class? That's crazy.
But that would include the pledge class. But still, a lot of kids.
That's a lot of dudes.
So the comic, I booked a local Kansas City comic to work with me, and he walked up there. He was really funny. I forget his name. And he looks at him, all white kids. 200 white kids. Like, I don't even think they had anybody non-white. And he's like, man, feels like I'm at a slave auction or something. And, like, I was laughing, but you could see the tension in the room. And I was like, yeah, fuck you guys. And then they paid me after the show, and I took off. Although I gave him 2 other tries before that. So that was my experience in Lawrence.
What is it like doing a show for all dudes? Is that unique?
I did it a fair amount. They would, when I used to do those frat
You
shows.
prefer that?
No. I see what you're doing there. I can handle it though, but it can be rough.
It seems odd to have like so much of.
One year I did that frat, and the guy who opened for me played the guitar. It was like a musical guy. He was funny. The kid who booked it, their social chair, comes over to me like 10 minutes into his set. He goes, "We don't want to hear comedy." He goes, "What this guy's doing, nobody wants to hear that shit." He goes, "I don't want to hear any jokes. Nobody wants to hear jokes." And I go, "What?" He goes, "You roast us." He goes, "You said you do 45 to 60? Just go up there and roast us." And at that point, I did get nervous, like, damn, you want me to just roast you guys? And I maybe did 5 minutes of jokes. But it's also easy to roast dumb, drunk frat kids.
Yeah.
right? You look at the old kid like, what are you, an 8-year student? Oh, shit, you making fun of him. You look at like the fat kid. You make a fat joke. You look at the drunk kid. It's like it's not that difficult, and you're also like looking at your phone like, once this time's over, pay me.
Yeah.
Like
Get
that.
the car running, please.
The thing about comedians that people always forget is like, comedians have hell stories, dude. Like those type of gigs.
For sure.
Like you're not a musician walking into like that sort of. It just wouldn't happen. So you could do it, Tug. I have faith in you.
Okay, thanks.
You're a calm and composed guy.
The idea of like doing a comedy set now for 200 dudes that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
Speaking of ridiculous,
Great segue.
no, this is just to circle back to how great Ben Stiller is. Directed The Cable Guy. He's in The Cable Guy. People forget about that.
Tug has been ignoring me for the last 20 minutes. He's just been on his phone
I have
looking at Ben Stiller's IMDb.
This is very true. There was one, Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah.
Very fun. Anyway,
He's done a lot.
great cameo in Anchorman
Also
during the bloodbath scene where
Yeah.
everyone's fighting. It's so good.
also ripped.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's like there's certain guys in the entertainment business that are like the sneaky ripped.
Yeah.
Stiller, I've heard he's like very, very into his regiment.
I have Nick D'Alessandro on that now. He had Brussels sprouts and kale today. So it's the first vegetable he's had in his entire life because he comes from Michigan.
Yep.
All right, let's wrap this bad boy up with this Kobe Bryant story. Kobe today is on record saying that he thinks some WNBA players could play currently right now in the NBA. He says, I think there are a couple of players who can play in the NBA. He told CNN. Diana Taurasi, is that pronounced correctly?
It's actually Diana Taurasi.
Wow.
Pretty simple. You just did a Key and Peele scene.
Diana.
Dianya.
Maya Moore. Did I get that one right?
Did.
Elena Deladon.
Teledon.
He says there's lots of great players out there, so they could certainly keep up.
All UConn players, by the way.
I have a take on this. This is my take. Kobe was involved in a rape scandal. So he's like trying so hard to be the friend of the female. It's like the male feminist kind of move where, hey guys, women can play sports too. They can play with the men in the WNBA. They can play with the men in the NBA. They're just as good. Look how much I love women. I have only daughters. I didn't rape somebody 20 years ago. Like, that's I'm honest. I honestly think that's his move of like, look how much I care about women's sports. There is no way in Kobe Bryant's right frame of mind that he thinks 3 WNBA players could play in the NBA. And by the way, it's nothing against these women. Women have a lot of great skills, can shoot lights out. Like if you watch women's basketball, the thought of these women playing on any team against anyone is troll or moron. It's basically our troll or moron game. It's laughable to think that these, because they would. End of discussion, in my opinion. They would.
Listen, we had a little teaser argument off air about this, and first of all, my stance on Kobe is that he has daughters. He has all daughters. So I think he's doing this as a way to sort of empower his daughters to say, you know what, you can do anything, and I think you could play in the NBA, and I think the girls, these women in front of you, could also do that. Now, Maya Moore, as you note in the rundown, is taking her second year off in a row from playing in the WNBA because she's championing some civil rights causes, which is very exciting. And here's my Maya Moore story. When I was doing the Broadway show Magic Bird, a bunch of Olympians came.
You dunked on Maya Moore, and you were like, "Hey, even a guy who's playing Larry Bird is better than you." Is that true?
No, it's not true.
Okay.
So a bunch of Olympians were in the attendance, including Greg Louganis, including Maya Moore, and I had to dribble a ball between my legs on stage, and I had an MRI earlier that day on my knee because I had torn my meniscus, and I tried during the show, full attendance, full audience, including the Olympians, including Maya Moore. I dribble the ball between my legs and I don't get it, and the ball goes into the audience. I'm playing one of the greatest players of all time, and the ball goes down the stage into the first row, and I have to walk out to the stage and say, "Can I have the ball back? Can you just give me the ball back, please?" Later on, go on to meet, of course, Maya Moore, who's a great basketball player in her own right, and I think, I wasn't, a bad player,
Yeah.
but on that particular night, I had a miscue. So that's my Maya Moore story. Elena Deladon is, her team, the Mystics, are the WNBA champions. She started at UConn, transferred to Delaware. Well done, Nick.
Off camera.
Off air, off mic. My feeling is this. I don't think Matthew Dellavedova can guard any of these girls.
You're trolling.
100% not trolling.
You're trolling. 100% troll. Dude, he would dominate. I put up their height, and I also put up what they earn.
Taurasi, the money thing means zero to me.
No, it doesn't. You know why it means something to me?
Why?
Because if they were good enough, they wouldn't be making 115. These are the highest paid women in their respective league. Taurasi makes 117 grand. Deladon makes 115 grand.
Do you think you're one of the best podcasters in the world in sports?
Define best.
You don't get paid like the Barstool guys do.
Okay, fair.
You don't get paid like the Ringer guys do.
Fair enough.
Okay. You're paid what the market pays you. The money thing is not an issue. This is about talent. Now, do I honestly think they could make maybe sustainable play? Like, what? I don't know. Does Kobe define how long they have to play in the game? Do I think they could run in the game? Yeah, I do.
No, I don't. I just don't. Because it would have happened.
What did happen? It happened in the 80s. Nancy Lieberman Klein played like she didn't play in an actual NBA game, but she was running in preseason games, practices.
So you mean to tell me, Tug Coker, in 2020, the wokest of times in the world that we've ever seen, in a league that props itself
In a league.
on being woke,
Except for China.
the NBA wouldn't openly accept these women to at least give them a chance. The reason no woman has been given the chance is because the GMs and the players and the coaches, they all know they just couldn't compete. There's just no way. I just refuse. This isn't. We're not having this discussion about a woman being in the military and things like that where I think it can be blurred. We're talking about professional basketball, man. I just don't see it.
You know who actually should answer this question?
And I could be wrong. I just don't see it.
I mean, this is an interesting question. Becky Hammond who could be a head coach for the NBA.
Okay.
I'd like to see her answer this question legitimately. Because she works with men on an everyday basis
Yeah.
and has played in the NBA. I'd like to see her answer that question. So, we're just having fun, having a good, healthy discussion. Welcome, greasing the wheels for you.
I'm for it. Look, I'm all for it. In my opinion, I don't want this to get lost into a male versus female, but also we are different genetically. For some reason, certain people want to only accept certain facts, which blows my mind. We are different. Our chemical makeup is different. That is a factually proven statement. And I'll just say this. Bring me the best women's basketball player in L.A. I'll take you one-on-one.
Let's do it.
I'm kidding on that.
No, we got a video. We got a videographer here for this.
These women would obviously destroy me or destroy most of us in a game of basketball. But, again, even a Matthew Dellavedova, who we've deemed, courtesy of, I forget which dirtball, Matthew Delava D-Leaguer, which is a great nickname, by the way. He's going to town on these girls. He's absolutely going to town on them. I don't know. Kobe, you're just mad. You're trying. Here's my thing with Kobe. You're not tricking me, Kobe. You're not tricking me. Not tricking old Andy Ruther over here. It's one of two things. You're trying extra hard to be woke because of that thing that happened in Eagle, Colorado. I didn't forget. And also, LeBron's about to overtake you as the third all-time leading scorer in NBA history. Trying to veer the conversation a different way. Not buying it, Kobe. And by the way, be on alert, Kobe, because that Andy Ruther, facts only, dropping soon with my man here, Nick D'Alessandro. You pumped about that, Nick?
I'm really, yeah. I'm just excited to get to work with you again. We had a little, we had a cup of coffee in Texas working, but it's going to be some late nights here in the Smut Studio, just dusting away some content.
Whoa. We're whispering, sort of.
Got really sexual there. You know what Nick said to me last night? I'm exhausted, and I haven't got much sleep the last few weeks, and I'm flying in from 3 hours ahead, and I was beat. But I kind of took Nick under my wing, showed him the Andy Ruther way. Last night, my first night in town, we did Costco and Trader Joe's. The Andy Ruther 1-2 combo.
That's incredible. No one's ever done that.
Yeah, it's basically it's kind of like a Maya Moore crossover. Like, that's the Andy Ruther crossover. We're gonna hit up Costco, and then we're gonna go to Trader Joe's. But we got back, and I was exhausted. And Nick actually, bless his heart, he said, I think this he knows how much I love Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he said, you have to watch season 3. And I've seen it, but I had forgotten. He said, you should watch season 3. I forget which episode it was.
Episode 6.
Episode 6, where Larry David uses his mom's death as an excuse to get away with things. Because obviously, humor is always the best antidote for any sort of depression. And we watched it, and I was so tired. And Nick put out the olive branch. He's like, "You want to hit the hot tub?" It was like it was like 11 o'clock, and I said, "No, man, it's all you. Spread those little wings." And Nick went hot tubbing in the Smut Studio at about what'd you go, about 11 o'clock, 11:30?
It was like 11:30 to midnight, something like that. Yeah.
Was there anyone else in there?
No, all by myself.
Yeah.
Very therapeutic.
A little me time.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller also cameo in Curb Your Enthusiasm, season 4, 1 and 2.
Wow, encyclopedic knowledge of Curb.
Yeah. It's a great show.
Yeah.
It is. Tommy Dewey, spoiler, on Curb this season.
Whoa.
Dewey's
Nug.
Yeah.
Dewey's on Curb?
Yep. I don't know which episode, so just keep your eyes peeled.
Ooh.
And then watch us on Now We're Talking, whenever that comes out.
Oh, you had me.
I know. You really did have you. More conversation with lawyers, guys. I said this last week. I want this to be the biggest show that no one ever watches. We can do it.
The Dirtballs will watch.
I know. I appreciate it.
Tug, it has been a pleasure knowing you as a friend, having you fill in for Joe, having you fill in for me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Means a lot, buddy.
Well, I love you.
Love you too, bud.
Happy to have you back. And excited to hear what you and Joe have cooking up the rest of this year, I know there's some good stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to go stop by the hospital tomorrow, checking on my guy. The good news is I spoke at length with his manager today on the phone. He doesn't have to be in one of those steady braces that where you can't move your leg. Does that make I'm probably not saying it correctly.
No, I didn't even.
But he doesn't need that, which is good.
That's good.
So she thinks he'll be back on the show next week, which will be good for that big announcement.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
Guys, thank you so much for all the support, all the love. Seriously, I cannot thank you guys enough. And I want to repay you with some koozies. So leave an iTunes review. Drop that iTunes review. Leave your Twitter, Instagram handle, and I will send you some koozies. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dirty Sports. You can follow my guy, Tug Coker, over here at
Twitter and Instagram at Tug Coker. Again, thank you to all the Dirtballs for being cool as I fill in for Joe and Andy and Spots. Love chatting with you all. If you guys are into wine or anyone you know is into wine, check out the podcast I run with my wife called The Long Finish. And Andy and I, once the dust settles, we'll get this little Tug Nug podcast up and running.
In the words of Bart Scott, can't wait. 2 interns.
Nick Dale is the name. Gaming's the game. Had me on Xbox Live. Half of a chub.
Amazing.
Follow me on Twitter at DSInterns and follow me on Instagram at Aaron Maharis. And real quick before my mic gets cut off, I just want to give a shout out to all the Dirtballs that were giving me some love on Twitter for my Titans take. I appreciated it. It was pretty cool to see everybody saying, hey, you know what? You might have been right on this one. And so, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey,
much love.
And to follow up on that, Aaron, I gave you a lot of shit. And you proved me wrong in a lot of ways. Not fully. If they made the Super Bowl, I would give you 100%. But you proved me wrong in a lot of ways. So congrats to you for being right, buddy.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Remember the Titans. Remember Moharis. Never forget.
Yo, Andy, I want to give one shout out. I'm wearing the my South Dakota State Jackrabbit shirt in honor for a lot of Stenga and the other dirtballs out there from that region. So shout out to the home team.
Love it. The 16th college Tug is rooting for. Can't wait to see them in the NCAA tournament.
I'll be all in, baby.
All right, guys, that's the show. Much love to everybody. Thank you again. Have a great week. Get healthy, Joe Prano. We love you too, buddy. And most importantly, stay dirty.